Hi guys. All right, so Geminis, welcome back. All right, Gems, let's go ahead and see what we get. We're gonna do a Celtic cross. Hold on. Your cards all came out together. I just did Scorpio and theirs kind of behaved the same. Hold on. We've almost got everything, I think. No, we need one more. Okay. Wow, that was almost a perfect shuffle for exactly what we need for a Celtic cross. Geminis, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for liking this video, giving it a thumbs up, for subscribing to my channel, all those things that help a channel to grow. I appreciate you guys so much. And your comments too, especially. So nice to hear from you. All right, here we go. So one thing at a time. We begin with the Temperance card in the reverse and the Hierophant, the High Priest, which is the Hierophant in this deck, crossing it. So somebody's out of balance because they're not listening to their higher self. Somebody is feeling like a marriage is out of balance. Somebody is feeling like we've got like maybe even dealing with a boss or a figure of authority. We're just not in sync, in harmony with them. Whoever this is, I feel like it's got a lot to do with their higher self. And I say that because, we have this angel here and the Hierophant, or in this case, the High Priest. We have these keys that should unlock wisdom, and he's pointing, up at the sky above, like, remember, you're a spiritual being having a 3D experience. But I feel like this person has forgotten that a little bit, and so they're in discord with themselves. That's a tough way to start on this storyline, right? But underneath it all, somebody wants a do-over. I almost feel like, did somebody go down the wrong road, make some poor choices, didn't listen to their higher sense of guidance, but they want desperately to have a do-over, to change things. Like, the only problem that I see here is that, it's wonderful when we want to make a change, right? And being uncomfortable is one of the greatest, motivators for making a change. But they're still in a place of disharmony. And so I'm wondering, do they mostly want to be allowed to make a change and have everything go their way without realizing the reason that maybe they're stuck in that reversed, Temperance energy, that Sag? We have Sag, by the way, and Taurus, and now Capricorn. So 3 major arcana, boom, boom, boom. In the recent past, apparently we're going to do a lot of major arcana in this. In the recent past, we had the moon. So there was all kinds of things that were not either revealed, or this person's innermost self was not, they weren't hearing themselves loud and clear. They were suppressing emotions. They were maybe suppressing their intuition. That's what it keeps looking like to me. Somebody wants to be happy, but I feel like they're their own worst enemy. Like, they're pushing against themselves, like, why am I punching my own, knuckles together? Like, why would I do that? There's no purpose of that. Crowning their thoughts, we do have a 4 of Swords. I gotta say, I really feel like in order to have this new beginning that somebody wants, they need to kind of sit in silence with themselves a little bit first. They gotta kind of figure themselves out. This person seems to be like, they know what they want, but they haven't recognized that the only blockage to getting it is them. Let's do a little clarification before we continue on here. I will say we've got a mixed bag. We've got I think that we're dealing with somebody right now who has an overinflated idea of how life is supposed to go and what they deserve to have, whether or not they put in the time and the work and the effort. It takes a lot of self-reflection to make ourselves better people. It takes a lot of experience in life, good and bad, and a certain amount of humbleness to be able to absorb the lessons. I kind of feel like we're dealing with somebody who isn't absorbing lessons, but they want what they want. Tell me, what was hidden with that moon card in the recent past? What was it that was... boy, your cards just keep being wild and woolly over here. We've got... So if someone was unaware, someone was unaware how stuck they've been, they might also pop off at the mouth. This could be somebody who's got lots to say. Limelight Princess, hi honey, thanks for being here. No, this person might pop off at the mouth quite a lot about if they're frustrated, it's somebody else's fault. I don't want things to go this way. But I kind of feel like they also are swaggering. They've got this attitude where, oh, if I don't like something, I just drop it. I don't need to put up with that. And it's true. Nobody needs to put up with stuff that's making them miserable. But I feel a little bit like this person is actually stuck in this idea that anytime anything doesn't go their way, they just drop it. That's not necessarily the most mature way to handle it. Some things don't go our way, but we need to reflect on it. We need to think about it because sometimes we're in the wrong. And I feel like this person doesn't ever like to be in the wrong. They if this is what's kind of like not been visible to this person, they've kind of suppressed this. I almost feel like, did they lose you? Did you walk away? This ended? Did you actually drop them? But in their head, it was like, well, either I can get this back if I want it, but there was a problem. And so if there's a problem, I just don't deal with it. That's kind of what I'm getting off of this. We've got kind of a swaggering, somebody who needs to be more reflective. That's how I see this. But at the same time, they still think that they can have this do-over, right? I want a do-over. If this is like an argument between two people in a commitment, say it's like a marriage or something, this person still doesn't really, not yet, or in the recent past, they didn't see how they contributed to anything. It was like, I don't even know if they took it this serious, but they thought they were still going to call the shots. They only saw it from their perspective. Crowning their thoughts with that Four of Swords. Tell me about that. Because that Four of Swords is about healing, but it's also about silence. We have the Three of Cups that crossed it. So I got to say, I feel like, did Gemini say, bye-bye then? If you're not going to do any work on your own self. Hi, sweetheart. Hi. I'm sorry, my doggy's here. His warm little nose all of a sudden is there on my knee. So, no, I feel like this person is like, in their mind, this can all be healed up. Everything's going to be fine. It's all going to be peachy. Well, things can get healed, but are they just waiting for someone else to fix it for them? I kind of think that this quiet time, if there is quiet time right now, because Gemini kind of walked away from this for the moment, I hope that they use this time wisely to think about things. In the upcoming future, we actually have the sun. So this person is like determined that everything's going to be okay. I mean, I gotta say, this person has got some serious, like, they decide stuff from one day to the next. This is how it's going to be. It's going to be awesome. Then the next day it's like, oh, I didn't like that, so I'll just drop it like a hot potato. Then when I'm ready for it again, I'll come right back in and it'll be awesome. I kind of feel like this is a very brash person. It feels a little impulsive, but again, the Sun card is wonderful, right? I don't want to knock that. And this person has a plan on having that happiness come back in. Clearly, the happiness has something to do with a reunion, right? With that Three of Cups. So again, we have the World card and we have the Moon. I'm telling you. And here she's, by the way, these both came out sideways, but she's in a wedding dress, right? Holding a scythe. And a timer. I got to say, they're thinking about everything's going to be peachy. It's going to be so happy. They still don't see things very clearly, is what this looks like when the moon shows up a second time, especially the moon on the sun, right? And you couple it with the world again, but this time we get more serious about it. What they want to move forward is a relationship that's going to be just how they want it to be. Everything's going to be fine. But what they don't realize, because again, the moon is what is unseen. And do you notice how on this moon card, this is somebody seeing their own reflection? This is what we've been talking about the whole time. I feel like this person hasn't really stopped to think about their behavior. And I think the big thing is, although they want a do-over, they're not aware that whether or not there's a do-over is really up to their partner as well, up to their Gemini. Does the Gemini want this? Because she's the one holding the scythe and she's the one with the timer going, I've given this person time to grow, time to be more reflective about themselves and their attitude. If they don't do any self-reflection, I don't know that this is going to fly for us or for me. This person, though, remember, in their crowning thoughts, it's like, okay, so we just got to heal this up. It'll be good. We'll get back together. I feel like this person is still almost minimizing how important it is for the other partner that they do some self-growth and that they kind of alter their attitude a little bit. That's what it looks like to me. And I don't feel like they're aware that it really is important that they look at themselves right now. Okay. In the hopes and fears position, we have got, fortunately, we've got this Four of Swords, which should be a card of like collecting information, learning things. But in the reverse, this is, I almost feel like somebody goes, I hope that you don't look too closely at like, my behavior. Cause maybe I was even going to come in and say, oh, I've done all this healing. I'm super great now. I know we had some ups and downs, but hey, we're not going to have any more squabbles. But I almost feel like this is, like they're kind of hoping that we can just move on from whatever happened, not really dive too deep into it. I don't think that this person's ready to do like an overhaul of behavior. And the reason I'm going to double down on that is because how other people see this person is a liar. And we all lie, right? Every human on earth lies. We lie in different ways, simple ways, lies don't have to be malicious, but sometimes even unintentional, white lies can lead to hurting people, right? So we have to, especially if we've done something that wasn't, it backfired or it didn't come out very nice or it hurt somebody else. If we know that, we got to say sorry for it, right? That's hopefully never anyone's intent is to hurt another person. But this person, others see them as someone who is, they kind of take off whenever they want to. They don't always tell their truth. You notice he's got this little grin. They kind of think their attitude is cute. Like, I feel like this is somebody who's gotten away with however they behave their whole life. That's not cute though. That's not, I just feel like this person is so, they know some things weren't working, but they still haven't figured out what it was, but they want their person back. They want their Gemini back. They want that happiness of Gemini. So they'll go ahead and say, yeah, I did some healing. Super great. We're back together. And in their mind, it's going to be peachy. Again, other people see this as somebody who lies to themselves about stuff. Maybe because they just are so out of touch still with their own higher self. Like they're oblivious to the fact that they gotta change a few things. They gotta be more self-reflective. We've seen that twice with the Moon card. What they want, they still want to be able to hold back, but still have exactly what they want and have it their way. Because this is holding back and holding on. They are, it's almost like this person says, what do you mean? I showed up, I'm here. And it's like, but that's not really just what a relationship is. You can show up, but are you actually present? Are we, combining our lives? Are we making decisions together? And this person is like, I'm sitting on the front porch. I'm here. I'm home. Yeah, but you're not in the house. You're not like engaging. You're not, like cooking dinner together. You're not. But this person's like, what do you mean? I came home, didn't I? That's not quite. This person is still stubborn, I think, or they have this attitude that they should be able to do and say whatever they want. And that should be enough. And even if it's not enough, they're not really receptive to hearing that because it still seems to be their way or no way. It's like they just can't seem to put themselves in the other person's shoes and like see it from a different perspective yet. However, wildly enough, we end with an outcome of an emperor, a wonderful emperor in the upright. So hold on, because to become an emperor does make tough decisions, and not everybody likes the emperor's decisions, and the emperor does not care because they have to make a good decision, not necessarily a popular decision. Lots of the many things in life are hard, and usually at least in my life, the things that I really should do are usually the hardest things, and that is it's difficult to choose the tough path, but it usually is the right path. The only thing is that we haven't seen this person show up with that mentality before. We haven't, because emperors, the reason they can make the hard choice, even if it's not the popular choice, is because they're actually doing it for the greater good of all. So it's like everyone in the kingdom has to work hard. You've got to toe the line. This would be like the equivalent of a great father who says to their kids, like, I don't care if you don't want to do this. You have to do this because I remember like my mom used to always say it builds character, so that's why we shoveled 5-gallon buckets of, manure all summer long, because it was going to build character. And we were farm kids. That's what we had to do. It was work, but that was a necessity. That's how we were raised. That's the kind of like the father figure who says like, You do this because if you don't do this, you're not going to have food to eat because your crops aren't going to grow. You have to go get the manure and turn it into the soil. Like that has to be done. That's the kind of unpopular decision that this cat can make, but they make it for the right reason. And they are doing it for the betterment and the survival even of a group. But this person has not shown up like that at all. So I'm a little bit like, how did we make the jump from that attitude to an emperor? Because we have not been describing this person this way. And I don't think that there's any misperception. So tell me about the emperor here. We got a Wheel of Fortune in the reverse, and we got the Nine of Swords. Ooh-wee. So this person may have a come into Jesus moment at some point in their life, but possibly not until they've lost the Gemini. They've lost even friends along the way, you know, that aren't going to tolerate their behavior anymore. This person gets into a place of like serious stress, that or they lose the Gemini, and this outcome is the Gemini's with somebody else who is an emperor, because this is a ton of stress. And this is also showing a stubborn individual. As long as they keep that contraption on their head, they can't even read this book of wisdom that they hold in their hands. And they can't write a chapter in the book of life, if that's what that book is, or the book of love, not when they only see things their way. You can't be that rigid. Being rigid is what is making them stagnant and make them lose this opportunity. And again, even if this were in the upright, this Wheel of Fortune has the scythe attached to it. It's to remind us that like we have opportunities in life, and if we don't take them, well, that gets cut out of our life, and maybe that opportunity goes to somebody else. This person is losing an opportunity. I think that the Gemini almost had one foot out the door, because it's like, if this person can't alter their behavior a little bit and cooperate, then I don't mind someone who's, you know, opinionated, who is stubborn even, as long as they are doing it for the right reason. And as long as, you know, an emperor wants to hear everyone's advice. They want to make the best decision possible. So they do not block everybody else's words. They want to hear, you know, other opinions. They want counsel. That's totally opposite from the character we've been describing through this. And I almost feel like maybe this person steps up into that role later on, but it looks more like they actually lose their Gemini to an emperor. And that's where they finally realize, oh, wow, maybe I should have changed a few things earlier on. I know this is not a very light and fluffy story, but I would say that this is a tale of caution, right? Because if someone is behaving in that way, and they're just really resistant to, you know, if friends are even saying, you're kind of lying to yourself if you think that Gemini is going to put up with that, you know, like it's different. We can be friends with people with vastly different behaviors, and sometimes even kind of bad behaviors, because like, hey, I couldn't live with you, but we can be pals. Because, you know, this person is not a villain, but they haven't been very aware of some things that maybe they needed to work on. But friends can tolerate a lot more than a partnership. And this looks like it was all about a partnership and the things that needed to shift and change. And it's kind of like that word of caution, because if things don't shift and change, they're going to lose their partner. That's what I saw in this. So anyway, these are always fictional, right? I'm not a psychic. I'm not trying to rag on anybody. These are characters. I don't want to ever paint villains into my stories, but this was a fairly heavily one-sided storyline. But I can't change the cards that pop out. But just remember, this is not about anybody. These are always fictional. So please, if anything triggers anybody or makes them unhappy, click off. Please always remember, this is about fictional people, not real people. So with that in mind, you guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for your awesome energy. Good morning, Simonius. Hello. Hey, Stephanie. Carrie Edwards. Oh no. We're not gonna lump a bunch of people, a whole group of people in. I don't like to lump people ever. Geminis are not nuts. No group of people is nuts, right? We only want to look at an individual on my channel, because I never want to start ragging on anybody. It's just, it's the only fair way to treat any human beings, is to get to know each individual and base off of the merit of our interaction with them. And even then, somebody can be an amazing person to somebody else, and we are like oil and water. We just don't jive together. And that doesn't mean somebody has to be a villain. That's what I want to stick with on my channel. Because I never like to vilify any group of people. That's super important to me. Try really hard to stay fair and balanced. But I know we all have tough experiences. And I send lots of love to anybody out there who's in a tough experience. You guys, thank you for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Lots of love, everybody. Bye for now.